Well, we ended Sunday with some steaks, and we're fresh here for the start of the weekend. Keith, thanks for coming on today at the races here at the lovely Laurel Park.
We are fresh today. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fresh kind of day out. I love it. Beautiful. Birds are chirping. It's cooled down immensely here. I mean, we've had some
Yes.
hot days earlier in the week. It's a beautiful day, though. Sun shining. You know, I'm looking forward to this card. This is I even called Dan. You know, I phoned
Right.
a friend. I called him on the way down. I said, man, I looked at our picks. We're all over the map.
We are.
And that's the kind of card it is today. But looking forward to it. I think there's definite value throughout.
No, absolutely. Let's see what we have playing out on the physical. Let's go ahead and take a look at the track,
Okay.
of course. As you mentioned already, Keith, weather's looking pretty fine. Track is fast and the turf is firm and looks on point here, Keith.
Yeah, and it looks like the weather's going to kind of be in our favor the next couple days. Projected forecast looks good. Maybe
I
some
don't want
stuff.
you to jinx it.
Nah,
I'm just
no. Or maybe early in our week, some showers kick back in.
Right.
Would certainly timing, if that was the case, would be just perfect, just fine
is.
for our racing here at Laurel Park.
Let's get started here with our first race. That does start that first leg of that early pick five. The pools are always nice for our pick fives here. And it starts on the turf on the lovely Laurel lawn here, going 2 turns, 1.16 for the 3-year-olds and up, and a claiming 20,000. Let's talk about our top selection. In fact, let's look at our top selection.
Right.
Brady Bear in that effort last time out. First time in the barn for Jerry Robb with Jamie Rodriguez on the turf.
Yeah, ran well. Both starts on the turf. This one off a step slow this particular afternoon from that outermost post. Took a little bit of a right-hand turn after that sluggish beginning. Might have been a little bit fidgety in the gate, and then guns up about 4 wide. Really, I was tight going into that turn and was able to kind of drop down and set the pace. Very game, I thought, through the stretch once collared. So I'm looking for this one. Brady Bear with a straighter break here, middle of the pack. Possibly, you just kind of get to the front and control things. 1.16 miles.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be a terrible issue. Some speed, possibly. Another horse that was out of that race last time. Maybe it's time, did a lot of chasing. Maybe he's even a little bit sharper, forces that issue. But I think if he's able to pop clear without much insistence early, he can rate and take this field a long way. 6-5 right now. I don't know if he's going to be that low. I wouldn't take him at 6-5. Hopefully he'll kind of get back up to the 1.5-2 range. But looks the one to beat. The road looks like it's going to go through this runner here for Jerry Robb, Brady Barron. Robb, just a little stat the last couple of years, 33% second off the claim with an ROI of close to $4.
There we go, off the with these turf runners. Very interesting here going in. A scratch in that MTO, by the way. We'll keep you up to date with the scratches just in case you're having any issues getting access to those scratches. So we'll be here to provide them for you here on the morning show. Underneath Keith, Beyond the Pale, Daniel Hodson, Julio Hernandez, a horse you have to respect, especially coming down to this level.
Yeah, it's interesting, Callie. We line up on the same
We
three.
do,
Beyond the
yes.
Pale, a fresh face. I think he's kind of faced considerably better when you really break it all down. And he's shown versatility in his races. I hope he's not too keyed up off the break. That could be trouble for him and maybe our top selection. I would like to see him draft back off the pace and make a run like he did on the go back in a 22 in life. And look at the company, Heartspun Reason, Riccio, horses that have kind of maintained good form against better on the turf course. The 2 horse we're going to take a little look at, Be Major. Yeah, that record's a little scary. 35 tries, 3 wins, 1 of those, I believe, over the hurdles. Thus eligible still for this condition.
Right.
But moving outside to inside, and it's shown the ability to sit and rate just off of it. I like this draw for B Major this afternoon.
That's exactly how I'd see it. Keith, 6-7-2-10 for race number 1. Race number 2 starts that early pick 4 in a starter optional, 20,000 on the dirt, though, still going 1.16 for the 3-year-olds and up. Keith, you have the number 5 in Shady Money on top. For Jamie Ness, Angel Cruz gets the call at 3-1.
Now, J-Rod's on Yodel Who, correct, if I'm not mistaken. Cruz
I believe.
gets the ride on Shady Money.
Yes.
And they've been sneaky good. Shorter sample, but about 33% when you break it down. This would be an all. If I was doing an early pick 4 today, which I still might play, I'm taking everybody in here because I think everybody's got a legitimate chance. I can make a reasoning, excuse for everybody. Shady Money, though, comes in off the sloppy sealed track at Monmouth. Yes, the same day Fightertown didn't run quite as fast. But Shady Money likes Laurel Park. Shady Money has positional speed and can stay the trip. Interesting to see how the tactics go for the horse just to the outside in Fighter Town. He's shown kind of speed, but
Right.
Shady Money, I think, will be right there, prompting a long way and can definitely stay the trip. You look at some of these starter races, he's facing, what does it take?
Right.
Bob Marco, beat Galatians. Galatians, I think, is going to be tough right back here, second time in the barn for Damon Dilladovico. That horse had to chase, remembering Wilbur all the way around there. Got away with it slow up front, but stayed the trip. But
Yep.
Shady Money, I think might offer okay value for Ness. 15 for 40 to meet. 4 winners last week. I mean, he just keeps firing.
Right.
Shady Money, Galatians, yes. To Tim CM, I'm going to throw into the mix. Video Spotlight. This 3-year-old colt, trained by Jose Corrales, is really improved. I mean, it's a dramatic improvement. Paired up 67 buyer figures and then jumped up to a 79 and had trouble twice here. Luigi Spirit's going to be back today. I think he'd be a threat from off the pace. Trouble 3/8's going to get stymied here a little bit, kind of having to wait while Luigi Spirit got all the momentum 3 and 4 wide to the quarter pole. This guy just never gave up. He had every right, just kind of flattened Callie. He didn't.
Right.
Shifts outside with Brasino and gives valiant chase to the wire. I like the draw. Gets the rail. Trash talking Larry is out.
Right.
He's sharp. He showed pretty sharp speed last time, then to rate back. He will be forward. I think they're going to let him roll out of there the first, quarter of a mile to get Poe. And he's a stayer. Much improved. Some of these horses, more experience, a lot more wins. He's going the right direction for Corrales. Just holding really well. The last couple months, this barn has just been steady Eddie.
Yeah, 5-3-2-4 for Keith Fusel there in race number 2. Let's go on to race number 3 in the turf in this claiming 45 for the girls 3 and up. Also sticking around on this mile and 16th distance. Keith, no one scratch here in the number 2. Put a rock on it. You go with the number 1 Old Bay. Mark Schumann. Attracts the ride of Jamie Rodriguez. We haven't seen this one since late May.
No.
First time on the turf. Yes.
And it's a scramble of a race, in my opinion. Mark Schumann barn, sneaky good right now. They have had a good year, 6 for 28 so far. Might even be more than that. These are the older PPs that I'm working on. Topside Golden Lad, not really great on the turf, 6%. But you know what? This horse is half to Balmer Hunt. I'm going to take a shot. That's a horse that was trained by Schumann, all Brandy winner, going long on the turf. I thought that race was pretty good on the dirt. Again, has the ability to lay close enough in any kind of improvement, tick up 6-8 points,
Right.
puts him into the mix, or puts her into the mix, I should say, at a price. This is an interesting race, trying to figure out how it's going to develop. I always like to kind of visualize the opening quarters and think I had a tough time with this. Sky Victory showing that speed on the main track. Will she go ahead and go? Comes out of the race against Colin Other. Mama's Lino is interesting. Taken back.
Right.
And a protect move off the claim. I'm not going to leave that one out of my exactas, the 5 horse, because that was a good try. 2 back against a horse that came back and got through the 3 in life condition. That horse being Catch the Kitten. So I'm going to key around the 1 at a price and the 6 at a price.
Yeah.
This day to approach it, I think you've got to take 1 or 2 horses that offer some value in that 4 to 6, 8 to 1 range. Top and bottom and exact as your tries, however you want to do it. Spreadarama at Laurel Park is going to be a theme for me. Kamikaze Umagi did not like the trip. 2 back, hit gate off slow, and didn't really like the trip. Now, the number was good, 75. That might have been a little inflated. But that last race got in some trouble. Really kind of wasn't noted. Was caught wide, in between horses, shuffled back at the quarter, worked outward, made a little run to flatten. Keys up against the right kind. Bell of Rights, also out of that race for the Kamikaze Umagi, was Whispering Sea for Trombetta, who I think is a use in here, the 9. Bell of Rights, that's a McGahee horse that went on to run second in the Christiana up there at Delaware with a buyer of 81. These two maybe slight class edge when you really break it down of who they run against.
Right.
So 1 and 6. Key around those prices, top and bottom today for me.
Spreadarama for Keith Fusel there
it.
in race number 3. 1674 is his first 4 that he gives you. Let's start the Rainbow Pick 6 here in race at number 4. Let's take a look at my ticket really quickly. A $21.60 ticket. Two, three. I didn't want to single on the last, I will admit, but this is a tricky. This is just as you mentioned.
Ah.
You called Dan tricky card.
Mm-hmm.
Where our picks are all over the place. I wanted to go four wide in race number 7 because I think that has a lot of value underneath there. So very tricky sequence. $21.60. I kind of pyramid scheme this out here
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Keith, you end up going with a middle pick
Mm-hmm.
4. So versus this was the easiest of the sequences you could probably give us, and that
Yeah.
kind of set it for. And so for you, $24 ticket, that says a lot of this card.
Yeah, and it could have been a little bit more.
Right.
Talking about race 2, I would have taken the L button. Once I started looking at it and breaking it down, I said, I'm not going to give out something that expensive. And talk about your rainbow pick 6. Day like today, yes, there's only 3,300 in the pot.
This is a
Play
builder.
a ticket. This is a day where a couple strangers line up and you're just walking out the door with 6,000-7,000 in cash. But don't be afraid to step in. But this middle pick 4 ticket, let's get you started. Race 4, 2 deep with the 3 and the 5 Dumpy, Sugar Steve. 4 deep in race 5, 2, 4, 6, 8. That's pretty easy. Race 6 with the 6 and the 7, and wrap it up in race 7, 2, 6, and 9. That's really good allowance. Sprint, man, lots of ways to go here. We'll see if Midday Image shown a really big time affinity for this turf course.
Right.
The 6, Biz Buzz, I thought you'll see him come from a little bit further back, and what a jump. I got the 9 in there. We're going to change that up. That's my bad.
Okay.
Is the 10 Jean Valjean?
Jean Valjean, yes.
Jean
Yeah.
Valjean. Yeah, we're going to switch
Tomato,
that up. I
tomato.
put the wrong number down. If you want to throw the 9 in, I think that horse got a little shot. But we'll wrap it up and bring back that ticket later. Yeah, that horse was ultra impressive in turf debut.
I'll bring
up in Grantville. Thank you.
I'll bring up this ticket for the
All right.
afternoon, Keith, with the fixes
That's
there.
my bad.
$24 ticket regardless there for Keith Fusel in that middle pick 4. And it does start here in race number 4 into claiming 30,000, which have never won 3, going for 6 furlongs on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratching the 7 Moncrief.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and discuss your top selection. Number 5, Sugar Steve.
Yeah.
Corrales, Arujo, last time out. Let's take a look at that win effort. Going the same distance and at the $20,000 level.
Yeah, I key around a couple 3-year-olds in here that won the 3 races. They're running very well, but this horse, man, this was a big effort. 5 wide early, 3 wide dropping down into the turn, and making that aggressive move at the quarter pole is going to be able to shake free. Look at that buyer speed figure, just jumped up again, up to a 78. Very, very strong. And we talked about it again earlier, Corrales Barn. And these horses are just running. They're holding form. And this one right back, fairly lightly raced, only 11 starts, going to be the number 12 today. They're speeding here to target, and I think he may not make that move quite as soon and be right up on the lead at the quarter pole. I think he still might be a couple lengths back when it's all said and done because there's some really fast horses in here. But Sugar Steve, I think the stalk can move into it. Dumpy, into the right condition now. Yes, has won 3 races, okay, but look at the races he comes out of. First off, the claim for Ness, we don't need to say anything else. Starters, Baracho, Icing, Baracho, I mean, just a really strong horse. Came back to run an 83 here recently.
Right.
4 Ness, this one goes in the Ness barn. Inevitable Connection might go ahead and go from the inside. He better be tied on because I think Dumpy's going to be breathing right down his neck. These two kind of go out, and I think Dumpy can survive the pace battle. Sugar Steve to lurk, to move into it. Even Fine Faith, shortening up a furlong, I think is going to be key for him to settle. He's going to be definitely further off the pace when they leave to 3/8. I think he rallies into it.
Let's go ahead as Keith Fusel goes 5, 3, 6, 1 here in race number 4 to race number 5. We're back on the turf here, going 5.5 here for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds at this maiden claiming 30,000 level. Also starts that late pick 5 as well. Keith, you and I land on the number 2 as the number 2 will now be on the rail since we do have a scratch in the number 1 Galactic Glory. Let's go ahead and take a look at that effort. First time on the turf for Damon Deal DeVico and J. Ron Barbosa.
Outside to inside, always a move that I like. Save you a couple lengths. Down all the way inside, going to have to come away cleanly. I think he can. The blinkers are going to go on, and this horse was 2-3 wide throughout. Little green still. Only run a couple times here. Left lead switches up. I thought continued willingly. The earlier part of the race, I'll just tell you about it. This horse was, again, a little bit green, having some issues. I think the focus comes on with the blinkers here for Damon. I know from a stat standpoint, you're looking real quick glance. This horse definitely looks like a horse that needs it. And I think he'll go ahead and get Poe early. I don't think he necessarily needs to lead. I think he'll just be more centered, more focused, and be able to take it and battle from start to finish.
I agree. You also go with Master Munnings for your exacta play for Mike Trombetta. Angel Cruz gets the blink instead of also one that gets the blinkers on as well.
Turning back in distance, 2 tries, 1 synth, 1 long on the turf. But turning back out of a race that's been productive. Horses have run fast out of there. 3 of those runners, a 73, a 71, and a 75 buyer. You don't really see that on this page.
Right.
This horse fits the mold here. Trombetta, anything turf you've been at nose. We've all been about anything he's been running sprint long. It doesn't matter. They've been good.
Right.
Got the stakes win the other day. Master Munnings to sit and rate inside out trip to run into it.
I like that you have corrected pedigree underneath as well for Gina Perry. Giannavello gets the call there as you go 2, 4, 8, 6.
Yeah, turf race is okay. Up, and up numbers wise. 4th off the break. Jolly Boss just got to the front. Razor sharp that day with an 81 buyer to go ahead and control it. But corrected pedigree kept on with interest.
We will be right back after this commercial break for the rest of Friday's Tricky Card here at Laurel. Welcome back, and we start things off not only with this late pick 4, but the jackpot super high 5 as well, and this allowance optional 62.5, 6 furlongs on the dirt for the straight 3-year-old fillies, scratching the 2 Divine Magic. Keith, you go with the number 7. This is going to be Arch Street in the barn of Michael Matz, Julio Hernandez. First time against winners, and you have a nice little stat for us here.
Yeah. This is kind of country. Matt's barn of late. Man, a sluggish beginning to the year, but they've got it cranking right now. Look at this. The last couple months, 11 for 43, 26% ROI, 230, winning dirt, winning turf. Alabrave the other day, right? Big run to get it done. Arch Street, bred to be really good by Constitution. Remember Tecalita?
Yeah, Tecalaria, yes.
Tecalaria, yeah. I mean, this was a good horse. Multiple stakes winner, a graded stakes winner. Put it together finally. Last time out, second blinkers, first off a little bit of a break. And that was an okay field at Delaware Park. I went back and kind of was keying up some horses. I think Lottie Dino was in there. So that was a good field. I like how she kind of was able to just recover. Beat slow, inside got Poe. Didn't have to, took to a little rating, sat patiently behind a contested pace. But when that scene was there, got it done and was eager through the wire. Lots of speed, all to the inside. I think this horse will be able to take to some rating, stalk, and move into it. Do we do it? Here's another one. Interesting video. A 3-time winner, right? Won more than anybody in this race.
Right.
Running against some okay horses. Pure Lure, this winner, you're going to see in this race up at Parks, been real good. Won the next out and is now 3 of her last 4. Now, do we do it? Was down inside, was trying to kind of lug out, get out a little bit. Maybe they'll tweak equipment, something changed there. Maybe the bit, you just don't know. You can maybe give a little bit more insight than that as a rider. It had to be a little interesting. But watch this, the courageousness. She kind of shows this last 1/8 of a mile. She kind of says, okay, I'll let you drift a little bit, let you do your thing. And when she was happy, she came back on with a real willing effort, I thought, the last 1/8 of a mile. So with all that speed again, down inside, this one, Pennington coming in here, I think can go ahead and prompt the pace, see if she can run a straighter course. In service coming in here on the dirt at Laurel the last 3 years, 5 for 17, 29%, 7 for 17 in the money with an ROI of over $2, $2.22. So those are the 2 I'll kind of work around, but this is a really good race. Divine Magic out. Susan's Mule, very fast. Glad to see the return of your top selection. Stick with the colors. Got a little break after 3 really kind of demanding races. I like this move. Give her a little time off. She'll be back. She'll be sharp. See if she can kind of get the 6 furlongs with this other speed in here.
Nope, I like that.
Yeah.
7653 for Keith Fusel there in race number 6 as we go ahead to race number 7. Really nice race in this allowance optional 55. 5.5 on the turf here for the 3-year-olds and up. Keith, you have the number 2 on top. I have this horse just right underneath. Let's go ahead and take a look at Midday Image winning last time out here and exactly why he's your top selection, Keith.
Yeah, look at this out of the break. Boom, boom. The old sandwich, squeezeroo, whatever you want to call it. Jostled break we put in the short comment. Is able to recover. I think this was the race where, wasn't Dr. Jeff a real heavy favorite?
Yes.
Yeah, 3 to 5. Watch this run, working in between horses, gets command and just draws clear by a length in 3/4. Has one of 3 other than eligible, kind of from the date condition. Looking back at this race, I was actually a little confused looking at it. He's eligible. Yeah. And I think he's going to get plenty of flow to sit back, save ground right off of it, and just liking this turf course brings the finish. Biz Buzz, Trombetta. I thought last time inside steady 3/8 short field, maybe forced into a little bit closer position than what he really likes. I know he's one close to the pace, but I think a little bit further back, and you're going to see a little better punch from Biz Buzz here, and kind of the horse is, we're going to really see Jean Valjean, what he's made of.
Right.
This son of Uncle Lino last time out prompted a really quick horse under a guzzle hold around the turn to draw off by 5. Very eager.
Yeah.
That second place finisher, stakes winner, prior to that might have been going long. That race finished up only 7/100ths of a second off of the track record, the course record set back in 2002. And it was an okay field. And I went back and kind of keyed them up and looked.
Right.
Grit, you look at the draw outside, a little bit of speed to the inside. This guy was ready to go. I do think he'll separate at some point. Longer stretch. Will he be able to hold off Midday Image and then these horses like Biz Buzz, maybe even Yes and Yes?
Right, and I completely agree with you on the raw talent that this gelding has had. He ran so hard, so I'm just waiting to see if he fits well here at Laurel. But Keith, you go 2, 6, 10, 9 in race number 7. Let's get back to the turf dirt here in race number 8 in this allowance optional 62.5, going a mile, 1-turn mile, second wire, another race with the second wire here for the 3-year-olds. Keith, you have the number 4 on top, Passion here for Justin Nixon, Xavier Perez. Let's take a look at that effort last time out, going 2 turns around this racetrack here on the 21st of June.
Another trainer, Justin Nixon, having a good year. Not a lot of horses, but doing quality work. This was a wild ride for the X-Man. This horse was trying to get out all over the place. Look, he's got 2 hands on one side of the ring. I didn't know what was going on there for a second. But you know what? Maybe things are kind of starting to click. And if they got that figured out, this guy looked like he could have been all that. He just takes it and goes eager through the wire, widening late by 4 and change, going back, can get some of the right kind. It's a tough race. This is another race where if you just want to go, okay, I'll give you a reason for everybody. You got it. But maybe he's the now horse. He's going to have to step up a little bit more. But there's some talent there. Big jump up in the buyer figures. Back in protected here in the allowance ranks for Justin Nixon. I think he'll be just off the pace. I don't think he's quite got the speed of a Blue Kingdom, who had just got annihilated last time early on. Goes second time. Blakers has a lot of foot. Formula Fair, I think, will kind of go out there towards the front of it. Maybe Passion at a price to sit and stalk the pace. Waldrop, he's only won 3 straight for Jamie Ness. He's just doing it in kind of workman-like fashion. He sat and had to wait a little bit. Short field last time, only had to beat 2 other horses. But he beat a horse, a heavy favorite, worked his life, came back to gallop, and had run big numbers prior. So he sits well here at the mile trip. Pappy's Revenge, the 6th. Interesting. Turf to dirt coming in from Delaware Park, McLean Robertson. Really good race. Battling the whole way, was able to clear off, just couldn't hold on late at Delaware, 2 races back. Even, conspiracy fact, the horse that beat him, it's a horse that ran very well, gets older, 2 other than company at Tampa. Man, this horse comes in really good form. So 4-7-6-2, Rainy Skies, you can't completely dismiss either, coming back a little quick. And he ran very well behind Waldrop with some trouble couple races back at Pimlico.
Interesting race in our feature race for race number 8. Let's get back to the turf here for our finale. A mile and 16th on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up. Starter optional, 20,000. Keith, the number 8, Be Determined.
Yes.
Daniel Centeno, Suzanne Statinius, blinkers off, 10-1.
Higher price Statinius.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to take here. One of these two. Let's hope they get it done. But Be Determined takes the blinkers off. Yes, stretching back out. Last time out, just Dr. Jeff's midday image, better field, and they just got away. I still expected a run, so maybe that's a tell. He just not quite there, but they're going to take the blinkers off. He's got good route races. I know he hasn't won at this, but against better, and it's closed up. And you look at this race, this pace could be really, really honest up top. Tom Hagen is fresh. He's run some bang-up races over this turf course to go towards the front. Yep. I think the King Cheek was real eager. If they decide to let him go, he'll roll away and even power back to get early position. So I think a little bit of relief here for Be Determined might sneak it in there at a big number in your exact. The last sip, he's come back in tremendous form, the best form of his life, finishing a dead heat there last time out. Had no cover whatsoever at any point. If he gets it today, he moves up even a little bit more here with Barbosa. King around these two in the last. There's lots of ways to go.
Right.
Exactly. We can talk about him. Let's talk a little bit about Prince Kozan and Elizabeth McHugh, Betty McHugh's horse. I thought that was a tremendous effort, 17-1. I know Bill, my partner up there, had a couple bucks to win. Look at that progression. Kind of got that tightener two back behind the last zip. Improved. And I think will improve again, was wide every step of the way and really battled on against a good field. This might be a little bit tougher, but the improvement is there. She's done a great job with his son of Kozan. 7-year-old gets a Rojo.
Agreed. I agreed there. So definitely 8-5-3-2 for Keith Fusel underneath. We could dissect and talk about this race all day, but we got to get going, Keith. Let's talk about your value play. I know you were ready.
It's kind of the whole card. I just wanted
to
keep going. This could have been a 4-hour show, but
easily
we're gonna cut it short here. Passion.
Yes.
Justin Nixon, barn rolling. Let's hope he runs a little bit better course than what he did last time and keeps the improvement going. I don't know if X-Man wants another trip like that.
Oh, my gosh. No, he doesn't. Definitely not. But there we have it, 12-1. Yep. I like that. I like that value play. You have another value play that we just discussed in the last race. 10-1, number 8, Be Determined, Suzanne Statinius with Centeno.
Setting you up. I mean, if you're down a couple bucks going into the last couple races, these are our get-out horses.
Right.
We'll end it with Be Determined. I like the blinkers off move. I like this. I like the stretch out against this particular field. I think the pace is going to be hot, contested from the 3/8. Let's hope he can kind of draft in early and just kind of steadily move up and doesn't have to be used too hard into it and then unleash the fury that last quarter of a mile.
Well, so moving on to another point that we have, Crystal Quest had a little bit of trouble when he was against Fulminio last time out, but this time here at the Boston Stakes and Colonial Downs, Crystal Quest had a great trip, but Fulminio still beat that field. We'll see that.
Yeah.
We'll see it in just a second. Here's that effort over at Black Eyed Susan.
Yeah,
James Murphy, and then we're just going to see the Boston right now. But Fulminio showing up here for Maryland Breds.
There we go. The key here, Callie, I believe, blinkers went on. Softer going, obviously showing a liking for the softer going. The last two, the blinkers, they brought the focus. This horse is finishing up races. Looked like a winner a couple races further back on the page at Tampa. Just a little bit of a hang.
Right.
Not the last two.
Right.
I like this move. I like the improvement for Fulminio.
We've discussed this horse kind of ad nauseum before in the previous season, but what I love is that the setup here is really nice. Potentially going in the Secretariat, which is also at a mile, so that's a grade 2. So best of luck to all those connections. And Keith, thank you so much for this show. It's been again bit of a head scratcher here today, but that's exactly what we're here for. Prices may be abound here over at the lovely Laurel Park. We will go to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches.
All right, good luck.